Around the world, north and south of the equator, are extensive areas of land which are largely desert. Zone is the United Arab Republic, Egypt. 95% of this country is hot, dry, barren desert. Yet here is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Great Pyramids. Built over 4,500 years ago by a great and powerful nation inhabiting this land. The face of this sphinx is the face of one of their kings, or pharaohs. And today, Cairo, the largest city in the Arab world, is nearby. It's a modern city with a population of over 3 million. It's the capital city of the United Arab Republic. But it's also an ancient city. This is a street market in the old quarter of the city. The people are mainly Muslim, although there is a minority of Coptic Christians. Here is the central citadel, dating from the time of the Crusades, with the mosque of Mohammed Ali, a famous governor who defended the city at that time. Every Friday, Muslims visit the mosque to offer prayers to Allah. This is an open-air mosque, a possibility in the climate of Egypt. Egyptians seldom see rain. South of Cairo, the annual rainfall is less than 5 millimeters. But water is essential. It's nearly all provided by one of the world's greatest rivers, flowing from south to north through the country to the Mediterranean Ocean. The Nile brings water from the heart of Africa into Egypt, traversing 1,100 kilometers in a valley 10 kilometers wide. On either side is desert. Here is the Nile at Cairo. Life in Egypt is lived largely along the Nile. It's the major transport system and provides most of the water for domestic and agricultural use. Agriculture flourishes. Here, annually throughout history, this great river has flooded the surrounding land, bringing down fertile soil from Central Africa. Date palms flourish in this fertile river valley. This farmer, called a fellahin, is pollinating the trees by hand. Here we see the harvest of dates spread out on the ground to dry. 400 miles south of Cairo is Luxor. 3,500 years ago, this was Egypt's capital at the height of her greatness. Powerful pharaohs walked this avenue of sphinxes to their greatest religious center, Karnak. These stone pillars, 216 in one temple alone, supported massive stone roofs. The greatest of their gods was Amun. Then and now, many peasant farmers, the fellahin, lived in mud houses. Usually, water must be fetched from the Nile. There may be a village well. This is the work of women and girls. The water is carried on the head in stoneware jars, which keeps it cool indoors. Piped water is now being developed in the larger villages. Women also do the cooking. Here, bread is being baked. Wheat is a staple crop, but barley and maize are also grown in quantity. Vegetables and chicken supplement the diet. Notice that the oven is outside. In summer, temperatures exceed 100 Fahrenheit, 40 centigrade. Men and boys work in the fields. A family work together on their farm of about 200 acres, but they all help each other. This type of hoe can be seen in use throughout Africa. Sesame, a plant carrying oil-bearing nuts, is being harvested. Wheat, maize, rice, sugarcane and cotton are also grown. Control of the Nile flooding now allows 2, 3 or even 4 crops to be grown each year. Here we see the nuts of the sesame plant being separated from the leaves and stalks. The system has similarities with the hand winnowing and threshing of cereals carried out elsewhere in the Middle East and in Southeast Asia. The Nile in flood has produced fertile land, but the growing crops must be irrigated. Canals have been dug. The Egyptian fellahin raises the Nile water onto his land. Here the shadouf is in operation, in just the same way as it's been operated for more than 3,000 years. Here is a second ancient system of irrigation in use, the sakia. A water buffalo turns a horizontal wooden gear wheel. This turns a smaller vertical wheel. Pots of water on another wheel are raised and emptied into an irrigation channel. Intensive irrigation and highly skilled farming have produced the maximum agricultural production, but more cultivation is needed for Egypt's teeming population. Control of the Nile's waters is the answer. Several barrages or dams have been constructed. Here at Aswan, the southernmost city of Egypt, is the biggest and most recent, the High Dam. Below the dam, the Nile no longer floods. Its waters are released as required. This is creating millions of acres of new agricultural land. In addition, a huge power station now provides energy to modernize the country. There's a massive electrification program for the whole country. Above the High Dam, the Nile waters are now held in a lake 650 kilometers long. This is now called Lake Nasser. Vast changes are taking place in this country. But the River Nile will continue to be the lifeblood of this country in the desert.